Hey, my name is Stephanie, and I'm recording my first podcast, I guess. Sorry if I'm looking down, as I'm reading my notes because I have like a bunch of stuff in my head and I don't really know how to align it so it makes sense, and so the video doesn't take like forever long. So I made a little plan of how I want this video to be. We'll see how it goes, but the first of all, my main objective or why I'm doing this video is mostly because I want to kind of record my training blog. I want to have a video diary of all my training blogs, because I'm currently starting tomorrow. I'm starting my first training block for my half marathon that's coming up, probably in May. I haven't registered yet to any race, but it should be something in for sure. I'm running at least one half marathon in spring, and then I am officially running a marathon, Montreal's marathon, in September. So I wanted to have like this video podcast thingy to kind of record how my training is doing, my mental health and fitness and stuff like that. Mostly because I got really inspired by Floberg Run's podcasts or like videos he was doing. Really, really fun. Plus, I also followed another girl that was last year training for her first marathon ever. Her name was Chelsea Callahan. Really loved her videos and really inspired by their content. It got me motivated to keep on running and keep on training. So I thought, you know what, why not? Also, the second reason why I really wanted to do this, it was also to show that, because I do, other than Fulberg and Kelsey, I do watch a lot of fitness babes vlogs. I don't know why, I like vlogs and I love seeing how people do go about their weeks, their training weeks and everything, but I don't see a lot of examples of people having like a 9-to-5 job and actually just training for a marathon or a half marathon. So I thought, why not show my perspective of how things are doing, because I think there might be a lack of other perspective than like having people where their life is just training, because it's not the majority of people, I think. I don't know. So yeah, I wanted to do my version of it. I think I should first go through my running journey, I guess. I've been running for a few years, and it really started I was going through Strava and I was looking through the data and trying to remember when exactly things started. So I was going through Strava and trying to remember where it started, and it seems that I started running in 2015. I don't remember exactly the date, but I remember the reason why I started running. It was because that Christmas, I remember I didn't have a scale at home. So we were at my now husband, but at the time he was my boyfriend. We went to their parents' place for Christmas, and I weighed myself because I knew I gained weight like after college and after university. I didn't train that much, or actually I wasn't training at all, and I've noticed how I was gaining weight. But when I got into the scale, I didn't realize how much I gained weight, and so when I saw that number, I was like, oh dang, I have to change this, because if I want to live a healthy life and a healthy long life, I can't keep on going in that direction. Something needs to change. I started changing my habit. I started biking a little more and trying to train while biking, using my bicycle as a way to commute. And it wasn't really making that much of a change in my weight. So I decided to incorporate running because it was very cheap and you would burn a lot of calories versus biking. You would burn two times more calories. So I was like, well, let's start running and see how it goes. I could definitely see how my weight was going down, but surprisingly, I actually started enjoying running. I was really motivated I got this running watch, but it was also like compatible with my bike, so I could track all my mileage and everything, so I could see like the calories I was burning. But the fact that I could track my activities were encouraging me, because I would see how I was progressing throughout the trainings, and I was seeing how I was going a little further, and I could all that for me was like kind of gamifying my training, and it got me really motivated. So I realized how much I needed that in order to train, and that year got me really motivated to register for a half marathon the next year, because I couldn't see how, well, I knew I would hurt myself in 2015 if I would have run a half marathon that year. So instead I gave myself like a year to train for the half marathon the year after. So in 2016 I did the whole summer. I was training. I was I think I was following a training program that I got from the book, The Handsome Method. I was loosely following it, but I did manage to finish my first half marathon. Finished my first half marathon in September of that year. I finished it in 2 hours and 27 minutes and 50 seconds. That was fairly good. I was really happy because like I was going through my Strava data, and I saw that my first registered run was in the 2nd of March, and it was 2.46 kilometers, and I did that in 29 minutes and 21 seconds. So very humbling, and very encouraging how the difference of fitness from one to the other. It was really, really encouraging. And after that half marathon, it went so well, I decided I was going to do a full marathon the year after. Subscribe to a marathon the year after. It was it was called the Marathon of Les Deux Rives. So it was in Quebec City. So you would start at Lévis, and then you would end up at the end of Quebec City. It looked like such a nice event. Honestly, it was really nice. So I finished my half marathon. The next year, during the winter time, I didn't want to run outside because, I mean, I live in Canada, Quebec. So it's not just a little cold. It's like it's freezing and it's snowy, and it's really, really uncomfortable to run outside. So I got like a stationary bike, and I would run like bike on my bike in my apartment while using Zwift. I've done a few trainings with that. It was really good for the winter time. And then when spring came along, got back into running, still loosely following my training. But that summer, my husband, JP and I, we moved to JP's parents' place because we bought a bus and we wanted to convert it into a RV. That summer, we were also getting married, and it was like a very DIY marriage that we were doing. So that summer was pretty intense for us. I was really stressed, and to be honest, like my marathon training was not. We were not doing it correctly. We were not. Yeah, I got. That year, though, I did get a Garmin watch, so I was following a lot more the Garmin. I was kind of following very loosely the Garmin training programs. I was checking out a little more my heart rate, and it was a lot more fun to be able to see like my GPS tracking versus before. I didn't really have any of those metric. I only had like a Suunto watch with no GPS. I only had a heart rate, and was just giving like the average heart rate for a whole training. It wasn't very precise. But you had to do what you have to do with what you got, I guess. So yeah, that summer it was really intense. We were converting, a bus, and it was not going well. We got married, which that went really well, but it was very time consuming. And we got married like a week after the half marathon. Not the smartest move, but whatever. Still ended up finishing the marathon, but with at the time we did it was in 5 hours and 36 minutes. So not like the quickest thing ever, but we've accomplished it. We've finished it, so that's a good thing. I remember when we completed that marathon, The only thing I remember in my mind was I never felt so much pain. And it was really funny to think that I was self-inflicting it to myself. Because I'm the one that wanted to do that stupid marathon. And then after doing that marathon, I was like, I want to keep on running and I want to do it again, but hopefully it won't hurt as much. I just remember how it hurt and it was like really painful. But surprisingly, I wasn't very sore for like the week after we got married, and I was not sore. I only had like a really bad blister on my foot that like my foot was all fucked up. But other than that, I was pretty good. So we got married in September, so that was the end of the season. And then that following winter, we moved back in a small town. We abandoned the project with the bus, and then we got into like a more of a normal pace rhythm where I had like a 9-to-5 job again. That winter though, the winter of 2017 and 2018 was like the coldest winter in a long time in Quebec. I remember there were some days there was like -50 with the wind factor. I was stupid cold. So running outside was like not a possibility. Started running inside. We went to a gym. It was not fun. And still managed to do a bit of training. In May of 2018, I completed another half marathon. This time I was a little more conscious, or I was doing a little more of an effort for following a training plan, and I did complete the half marathon in 2 hours and 24 minutes. So a little faster than my first half marathon for a few minutes. Still a PB, pretty happy. But I remember how thinking to myself like, oh, actually when you train it gets more enjoyable. Yeah, but that in 2018 my husband and I decided that we were going to move out of Quebec, and then we moved to BC. Before the move from May till December, I didn't really run that much. When we moved to BC, I found the joy of running again, because a new city and discovering the city by like while walking or running, it was really fun to explore and to discover new areas in the city. So that was really cool. I got back into like running a little bit, and then that Christmas in 2019 I gained quite a lot of weight. Well, not that much, it was not bad, but I was realizing how, because at that point I was my regular runs were like about 5 kilometers, and my 5 kilometers weren't cutting it for me to be able to lose the weight that I gained during Christmas. So I decided to try to push my regular runs to become like 10K runs. I started losing weight, so I was really happy. So my regular distance runs were like 10Ks. I was supposed to run the Vancouver half marathon. Of course it got canceled, but I still did the half marathon virtually. I ran a virtual half marathon by myself, and then it went really well. I remember that summer I never felt as fit as I ever had, so it was really cool. So in after the virtual half marathon, I kind of lost interest in running because of all different reasons. Either, well, it was like life wasn't going as planned and it was a little stressful, so I just didn't run as much. I wasn't motivated of running. I did a few activities like spin. I had like a few spin class were really, really fun, but yeah, I kind of lost interest in running. In 2021, my husband and I decided to move back to Quebec because life in Vancouver was not working out for us financially, because it's so expensive. So we unfortunately moved back to Quebec in November of 2021, and that first winter I did not want to go run outside because I hadn't seen snow in so long, because BC is pretty warm. I think the coldest it gotten was like -2 degrees, and I would still run outside -2 degrees. It's really easy. Like in Quebec could go down to -40 degrees. Yeah, BC it's pretty chill. So the first winter we got back to Quebec, I didn't want to go outside. I just spent my time knitting under 3 blankets and watching television. My fitness was so bad at that point, and I thought that I would be able to start running again on my own. Didn't happen. I wanted to do the there's like a city where we used to live in Drummondville, and there's like a half marathon event that happens there. I wanted to subscribe to that half marathon, and then I realized the weekend, like I think we were on Thursday, and I realized that weekend was the event, so I completely missed it. So I was so bummed, and I'm like, okay, I have to get back into training. And in order for me to get back into training, I really need to subscribe to a group or like go get to a fitness class or something. I can't do it on my own because I'm just too darn lazy. The fall of that year, I entered a running group. Because I haven't been running for like a year and a half, I decided to register to the group that were training for a 5K. Even if that distance, I knew that I was able to, but it had been so long that I haven't been running for so long that I didn't know if I was physically able to run another 5K without injuring myself. So I wanted to get back into it progressively. That class was so good. I would definitely recommend getting into a running group because it's so motivating. So they gave us like a training program that you would follow. I didn't realize that had like more than just 2 trainings, but we would run. The training class was like 2 running classes per week during 16 weeks, and on the 16th week you would have your race. So in my case it was like a 5K. So on your program it would tell you to run like 4 times a week, and you would have 2 with a class, and there was another one on Saturday if you would want to go like on a free class where other people could just participate with you. Yeah, and on those classes, because we were in a group, we were doing interval trainings, and having a group and having that structured training, I got so much more gain. Like my speed improved so much. It was really encouraging. Yeah, I just noted how at the beginning my pace was around 7 kilometers per minute, and by the end my 5K trial at the end of the training was I finished my 5K under 30 minutes, so I did it in 29 minutes and 14 seconds, and I'm pretty sure I could have run a lot faster. I was going a little slow at first. I remember how I was running a little slow because I wanted to be with the group, and then realizing at 2.5 kilometers that I was like, it was a little too easy, so I pushed, and then I went really under 30 minutes. I was really, really proud of myself. After 16 weeks, it was the fall, so winter came, and then I didn't train again. During the winter time, it was so cold, I didn't want to do it. But realizing how I need to have like a training group, or I have to register to a race in order to do the training, because if I don't have a race, I won't do the training because I'm lazy. And again, of January 2022, so last year, I registered again with the running group for the half marathon this time, and so the training volume was a little more intense. So our previous trainings were in group were like maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. Now they were like at least 45 minutes to like an hour and almost an hour. And so I saw the gain. I was a lot more tired, but it was, I saw how I got a little more fit, but I wasn't following the training blocks or the training plan to a T. I was kind of like half-assing it. After that training, I did my half marathon in May, and I completed that half marathon in 2 hours and 15 minutes. So, and in like pretty good gain in time. So I went from, what was it? 2 hours and 24 minutes to like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Pretty happy with it. But then again, I wasn't like fully following the training plan. So, and it was still spring. So I thought, like, let's do another half marathon and see how it goes. And like this time I'm going to be a little more serious on my training. Oh yeah, and in May, when I finished my half marathon in 2 hours and 15 minutes, to be honest, I felt good after. I was a little sore, but wasn't crazy. And like, if you take training seriously, you could actually not suck at it, and it could actually be really fun. Because that half marathon was really enjoyable, and I was really proud of my time. After that half marathon, I registered for the Montreal Marathon that was being held in September. And that training, I was a little more serious in that training. So I did probably a little more than the plan was telling me to do. I was following 2 training programs, so the one with my running group, and I was also following the Hanson Method half marathon. And the Hanson Method pushes you to do a lot of volume in order to be able to run more. So I was kind of following both those programs. Did the half marathon in September, got a huge PB. I was able to finish my half marathon in 2 hours and 4 minutes. Really happy. Still under my goal. My goal was to run under 2 hours. Missed that goal, but really happy. And looking back into my stats, I remember how when I finished my half marathon, I remember how, well, one, I did all the splits to see how I would be able to run a half marathon under 2 hours, and would technically I had to technically run under 6 minutes the kilometers the whole time. Did not do that because for me 6 minutes a kilometer, it was a little too quick. I felt like it was very quick for me. But then when I was doing it, I was monitoring. I was following my heart rate throughout the run, and I was really trying to go, my heart rate, I was trying to go under 160, or like 166. It was pretty much like the limit of my heart rate threshold, I guess. Instinctively, I knew that was pretty much my threshold. If I would go above it, I would crash. But if I stayed under it, and like 164, I feel like it's my comfortable zone. So I was really trying to stay on that heartbeat. The first part of the half marathon there was a lot of people, and I remember being very excited, and wasn't getting into a groove for a long time. So my heart rate was going up and down quite a bit. I was trying to figure out what the hell, just trying to calm down and get into a groove and just concentrate. And then I got into that zone at kilometer 8. So usually I get in the groove like kilometer 2, like the second kilometer, but like, I don't know, the half marathon, I got really excited, couldn't concentrate. My heart rate was going all over the place, and got into the groove at kilometer 8. And then after that, I was pretty much set for, like, my heart rate was hovering around, it was a little high. Sometimes it would go up to 160, 170. And then sometimes it was going down to 154. But my average heart rate for that was, average 157. Yeah, it's pretty good for that. The whole time from kilometer 5, starting at kilometer 4, I was like at 5 minutes and 44 seconds the kilometer. I was going downhill that way. That's why I was going so quickly. And then at kilometer 5, from there on, and after kilometer 5, I didn't run anything under above 6 minutes a kilometer. Yeah, so at kilometers 18, I was feeling really, really good, and I could almost see the end of the line. Like I saw the botanical garden, and I knew that was like the beginning of the end. I cranked up the pace. I went from like under 6 minutes a kilometer to like I was sprinting at the end. So kilometer 19, I went to 5.22 minutes a kilometer. 20, I went to 5:30 the kilometer, and then at 21, I was like sprinting. I went under 5 minutes a kilometer. So yeah, at the end I was sprinting. So I think I had like a lot of juice in the tank. So I should have pushed a little harder, and like I should have like run a little faster at the beginning in order for the overall pace or the overall time of the event would have been a little quicker. So I think I would have easily gotten under 2 hours for the distance, but I didn't. But overall, I'm really thrilled with that event, and I was so happy and so proud of myself. All that for saying that spring is coming, so that means half marathon and marathon training are starting again tomorrow. So today we're Sunday, and so tomorrow is the beginning of my next training block. So I'm gonna document the whole progress and everything. This year I have at least two events that I'm going to be training for. So the first in spring, I haven't registered to any like races yet, but I'll be doing a half marathon either in Drummondville, the city I used to live. Either that half marathon or maybe another one, we'll see. But I have a marathon in fall. That one I have subscribed to it. It's again I've done it multiple times, but I'll be running the Montreal half marathon. So last year I did my half marathon. It was so beautiful. I really loved it. I wanted this year to do the full marathon. I love that city. Like we're looking really forward into running that race again. Those are my two events, but they're not necessarily, my life is not revolving around necessarily running. I do want to finish them and I do want to be happy with myself, but I am going to keep in mind my health, either mentally or physically. I want to put that in priority, and the well-being of my family. So I don't have any kids. So I'm able to, I do have a lot of time on my hands because I don't have to worry about a kid, but I do have a husband that I do want to spend time with and like enjoy life. And I do want to have like a clean house sometimes. So that's like my main priority is to focus on health mentally and physically with my, and having a good, healthy relationship with my family members. And the other one would be, I guess, having a life, because I don't want to be only solely focusing on training, because I'm not an athlete. I'm just an ordinary person that works a 9 to 5. I have nothing else to say, really. I guess this is the first video that I'm doing. We'll see. Hopefully it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I feel like it might not be, but whatever. I'm going to try to document this whole shebang, and hopefully you guys are interested into it. Yeah, next video I guess is going to be my week 1 of half marathon training. Yeah, stay tuned. Leave any comments if you have any questions, or hope you like the ride, I guess. Oh, that's pretty much it. I have nothing else to say. Hope you guys have a nice rest of your evening. Okay, anyways, that's it. Okay, bye.